Okay. So welcome everyone to the launch event for the first issue of the Jam Journal. Thank you to all the contributors for the first issue and also to all the attendees joining us tonight. Jam Journal is a new project under the umbrella of my larger J Expressions project, which is a mobile library that's dedicated to Southeast Queens authors and writers. And I wanted to create an extension to that project that really highlighted the conversations between writers and artists. And that's how I set up the entire magazine. Each of the contributors' work is grouped together in different sessions, as you will see. And each work is basically in conversation with each other, where the works come together, where they intersect, where they communicate with each other. And I want you all to remember that while reading these works and engaging with these works. I will post in the chat the link, which is now live, and it's jamjournallit.com. Before we get started, I would like to say that Jam Journal was made possible in part by Queens Council on the Arts with public funds from the New York City Department of Cultural Affairs in partnership with the City Council. And I will also like to thank Fifth Line Studio for helping design the website. So before we begin, a few guidelines for tonight. Please, attendees, keep your cameras and microphones off during the readings and presentations. And if you have any, and for each presenter and reader for tonight, if you have anything that you would like to share for the attendees, please do share before you read. So before we start, I would like to introduce Priscilla Stadler, who will tell us about our Jam Oracle activity for the night.
Thank you, Charisse, and hello, everyone. I'm very happy that you're here. One of the things that we'll be doing tonight, in addition to listening to this amazing group of authors and artists share their work, is to actually, if you would like to, participate in a creative project throughout the launch. As an artist, one of the things that I do is explore divination and oracles. And so tonight, I invite any of you who would like to join us in a collective interaction that will be taking place at different points throughout the launch. It's called the Jam Oracle. And it's developed specifically for our launch. It's a participatory interaction. So at several different points during the evening, you can type a question for the Oracle, any question at all, into the chat. But please, if you would direct your question individually to Charisse, who is co-facilitating the Oracle, along with Angela Miskis and myself this evening. And then some of the questions will be selected, and with the Oracle answers, they come from excerpts from the journal itself. So I also want to give a big shout out to all of the authors who said that we could have permission to share short selections from their work as Oracle answers. And we'll see what happens. You never know with an Oracle. At the end of the evening, we will compile the questions and answers, and we will read them. That's the Jam Oracle poem. So collectively, we'll be creating that together. Okay, we'll let you know when you can type your questions up for Charisse, and that'll be a little bit later. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Priscilla. And now I present to you the lovely Rowana Abbensetts.
Hey.
Hey everyone, thank you for coming tonight. So my name is Rowana Abbensetts. I'm a writer, all kinds of writing, novelist, short stories, and poetry. And tonight I'm going to read a very special poem. And the first half is in English, and the second half is in Spanish, which is a second language that I've been trying to teach myself. So bear with me as I experiment with language, and I hope you enjoy. It is called Celestial. Tonight, the moon was so bright, the sky lit up like it was daylight. She moves behind the clouds, watching me like a giant eye, reminding me of my power and insignificance all at once. Full and shapely, she is feminine design. Moon cycle, moon tea, and bread and cookies. Feminine divine. She awakens something in me, a primal cry in a foreign tongue. Zulu, Swahili, Xhosa, Lakono, intimate friends with Gaia, who leans into the crook of her neck every so often to cry. Sun, star, stone, celestial dust I am.
Ah.
It continues.
All right.
Esta noche la luna estaba tan brillante que el cielo se iluminó como si fuera de día. Ella se mueve detrás de las nubes, mirándome como un ojo gigante, recordándome mi poder y mi insignificancia a la vez. Completa y bien formada, es un diseño femenino. Ciclo lunar, té lunar, pan y galletas, divino femenino. Ella despierta algo en mí. Un grito primitivo en una lengua extranjera. Zulu, Swahili, Xhosa, Lakona. Amigas íntimas con Gaia. Quien se apoya en el hueco de su cuello cada tanto para llorar. Sol, estrella, piedra, polvo celestial, yo soy. Thank you.
Muy bien.
Thank you.
Nice job.
Omar, because I remember when we were working at Freeburst together, and I was always so nervous to practice my Spanish, and he always encouraged me. So that one was for Omar. Yes.
Thank you so much, Rowana.
Thank you, Rowana. That's so beautiful. And I can tell the poem you wrote it to your daughter. I can tell it's straightforward. Really beautiful. Keep doing it. It's very challenging to write a poetry, especially in a language that you're learning. And it's very cute. Your Spanish is super cute. So good work.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. And next up, we have the glitter priestess herself, Damali Abrams.
And Charisse, thank you so much for having me and for putting all of this together. It's really beautiful. So my two pieces, one is a poem and one is a visual art piece, are on the same page as Rowana's poem, so it worked out perfectly here. So I'm an interdisciplinary artist. I work in collage, mixed media, video, performance, and I've been working on a series of mermaid collages for the past 4 or 5 years. So this one is from 2018 and it's called All We Do Is Win, which is what the text in the back says. And then this poem that's here is a poem that I wrote during a workshop that the Free Black Women's Library had about Audre Lorde's The Black Unicorn. So I wrote The Black Mermaid. And the point of saying all that is that to say that it was just a rushed poem. It's not something that I put a lot of time into, but I still liked it. The Black Mermaid. The Black Mermaid birthed the ocean that birthed you. The Black Mermaid dances and planets appear to move in reverse. The Black Mermaid's splash, like the Black Mother's lash, cures all foolishness and fuckery. The Black Mermaid's beauty is frightening. She could lure you to your life. The Black Mermaid was labeled myth, accused of not existing. The Black Mermaid is too real. And there are a lot of mermaid figures throughout the African diaspora and the Afro-Caribbean diaspora. And so that's where I've been pulling a lot of the inspiration for the mermaid figures. If you travel throughout and look at the folklore and mythologies of the African diaspora, and like I said, also the Afro-Caribbean diaspora, you'll find a lot of mermaid figures. So a lot of the symbols and a lot of the imagery that I use in my work is pulling from that, as well as a lot of my work has outer space imagery, and I'm working from the idea that there are depths of the ocean that no human has ever been to, and then there are depths of outer space that no human has ever been to. So I imagine those as one space coming together, and that's the space where the mermaids live. So that's my work. Thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Thank you, Damali. And sometimes the best work comes from little effort at all. You're just letting the spirit flow. Next, we have Keisha-Gaye Anderson, who has a book coming out called A Spell for Living.
All right. Pleasure to be here with all of you. And I love hearing your work. Very nice work. And very nice journal that you put together, Charisse. So yeah, I do have my third poetry collection, A Spell for Living, will be released before the end of the year as an ebook and a print on demand book. I am a visual artist also, so the book, I put the link to the Eventbrite in the chat. So we're gonna have a pop-up art exhibition and a reading, which will be live streamed. We're only gonna let 20 people into the gallery. Everyone has to wear a mask, so check it out. The art in the book, it's my art. That's what's on the cover. And I guess I'll just share this one poem. I have art in this issue, right? Okay. This is called Black is Not Enough. Black is not enough to go by. Is too narrow a space, too clumsy a way to reveal you. Don't you see your place up high along the winding trail of lights resting on mother's neck? Can you name all the shapes of your intelligence that sometimes, when it feels like, splashes over the brim of infinity to condense as jazz, a dance of colors at 5 points, Denzel's deep sea eyes, and our snaking hips to the dance hall rhythms, dip, 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 dip. Unleash your ecstatic laughter for this joyous walk through time and mirrors, where you can love you as us, as all of this, salt foam under a lavender sun, the jubilant tale of your familiar, a warm kiss of wind in a glade exploding with new life, the sweet sacrifice of guiding the next navigator of your blood. Black is not enough, is too dim an idea, too minuscule a name for us. Thank you. It is my pleasure. So check out the link and you'll see all my other links there, but thank you for inviting me to this space.
Thank you.
Excuse me, what is your name? I didn't get it.
My name is Keisha-Gaye Anderson, and I'm gonna also, if it's okay, I'm gonna put my website in the chat. All right.
Yes, please do.
Thank you.
Well worth the viewing.
Thank you so much, Keisha. Next, we have Art and Calm with Natalia and Thiago.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Natalia de Campos.
And my name is Thiago Smerechanho.
We created Art and Calm in the Jamaica Coliseum Mall on 165th Street in Jamaica as part of Jamaica Flux in 2016. And we did a sort of residency and did a number of projects. I work mostly in performance, video, and sound, and Thiago in sculpture and installation. But we did a mixed project that was participatory there and collaborative. And we missed them all a lot. And since we left, we created other works that were a result of that. And today we're going to present something that is a remix of two works that came out of the Art and Com residency at Jamaica Flux. So I'm going to share it with you. And we're going to mix live. So let's hope that this is going to work. Okay, 1 second. All right, so here we go. Watch your step, wipe your feet. We are open 7 days a week. Please, do not sleep on the land. Do not breathe on the land. I'll turn you out. Help me. I wonder, Pat, on your utility path. Grow apples, grow milk. I love coffee. Angry bird. Fried chicken wings. Government service. America. Vending machine. State of the art. State of the heart. China king. The variety. Malaysia. Russian. Indian. All natural. Green. Welcome. One love. One world. Now available here. Black peanut oil. Tonic cement. Two earth leaders. The album. Culture, box culture, ready. I'd love. African hair baby. You can wear. Baby won't talk
Sunday. Lemonade.
Better than you have ever tried. Computer plans and cards.
Use and unlock tablets and computers.
Ultra mobile prepaid phone center.
Our chair. Added indicator. VSF Union Friend.
Low soliciting. I vote. Liquidation sale. Jewelry exchange 14 gold century. Name plate.
Gold caps.
Diamond rings, bracelets, watches. Jewelry watches. Crystals sold here. Special orders, best quality, lower prices. Layaway plan available. Debit and cash only. All sales are final. No refund,
No
return, no exchange,
No exceptions.
No cameras allowed in the mall.
Open.
Entrance.
Parking.
Exit stop.
Do not.
Yay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, that was great. And it's all of our first time seeing it as well. And the video will be up on Jam Journal soon as well. Before we have our next reader, Jacqueline Carr, Let's have our first
next.
Jam Oracle session. Priscilla, would you like to lead that?
Sure. So we will be taking, the Oracle will be taking 3 questions from that people have sent to Charisse privately in the chat. And if you didn't get a chance to do that, you can still do that. Your question might be selected later on. Charisse, do you want to tell us what was question number 1?
So question 1 is,
should I continue with this opportunity?
I
Okay.
continue. Okay, the oracle is searching. One moment, please.
Concentrating. What is the answer?
The answer is, I drew the death card. You're all funny. The oracle has spoken.
Okay.
so are we going to question number 2?
I'll put the answer in the. Okay. What is question number 2?
Question 2 is, will 2001 be better than 2020? And that is my turn to be the oracle.
Concentrate.
Night creaks into morning. Child's dream flowering to dawn. Moon sleep above sunlight.
Well, that clears up everything. I needed that clarification.
Well, you never know with an oracle.
This is true.
Okay. Question number 3.
Question number 3 is, what is sparkle?
The answer, I'm concentrating. The answer to what is sparkle? Gems were the place to be.
There you go. That says it all.
Thank you to all the oracles. And we'll be back for the next session later. But now coming up is the next reader, Jacqueline Carr.
Hey, good night, everyone. Welcome, poets, artists, and guests. And again, I want to say a special thank you to Charisse, Omar, and her team for putting this together and giving us the opportunity tonight. I know, Charisse, you had mentioned 10 minutes, so I have a few poems that I'm going to read for at least 10 minutes, including the one that's in the journal. And most of my poems are more or less like everyday occurrences, life experience, and its nature theme. So I'm going to start the first one, which could be considered observance and nature theme. It's entitled The Awakening. The Awakening. My soul opened its window and broke into blossom as it bore witness to the stupendous beauty of Niagara Falls. Heavy, thunderous white water galvanizing down into an avalanche. Breathtaking beauty that changed everything, yet changed nothing. It was a celebration of gratitude, grandeur, and disbelief that roused up a floodgate of emotions. My wandering soul was filled with trembling awe and couldn't contain itself, but for the magnitude of the moment, It laughed out loud in the deafening silence. That's my first one. My second one is something that I observed at a rest stop, and it's entitled Lady of the Night. She seemed mentally tired. She had a blank stare. Her lips were black. I assumed that she smoked. She looked middle-aged, but was probably much younger than she appeared. Her makeup was excessive. She walked carelessly, yet purposely. Her face told a story of sadness and despair. I suspect that she was weeping in her silence. And that is something that I witnessed.
Listen, out of respect for your work, I would like everybody to applaud. I mean, you're taking the time to share your work, and I think we should acknowledge that fact. Please.
Thank you, Bob. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you.
So the next one is a line that's taken out of Maya Angelou's poem, Still I Rise. And that line is, did you want to see me broken? And my poem is entitled, Did You Want to See Me Broken? You miserable, pathetic fool. You told so many lies about me. You connived, you schemed, you threatened, you instigated. Yeah, you did me wrong. But despite it all, I stood tall. I didn't fall. I maintained my integrity and my dignity too. Did you really want to see me broken? Well, you failed miserably.
You know, for a moment, I thought you were quoting my ex-girlfriend. Just for a moment there, I thought you were quoting my ex-girlfriend. I kid you not about that.
You're funny, Bob. The next one is from What's in the Journal, is entitled The Pen in My Hand. And I wrote this last year around this time. And this in itself is another true story. The pen in my hand. Daylight savings time had just ended. Charcoal darkness yawned before me. The night growled as it circled its lungs and licked its lips. Suddenly, a distraction, a small crowd and a heated exchange of words and blows. I remained quiet, shrouded in the darkness, then surreptitiously fled, hopefully unnoticed. My steps hurried as I advanced to my car. Did they see me? They didn't know that I witnessed the entire incident? Panic ambushed me as my heart knocked against my chest. A floodgate of emotions swirled in my head when I saw it on the 11 o'clock news. Should I tell someone? Should I call Crime Stoppers hotline? What should I do? The pen in my hand compelled me to write. And that's the one that's in the journal, and it's a true story. Thank you. The other one is entitled The Game. I'm a sports fanatic at heart. Competition intrigues me. I'm a basket case at live events. I yell, I scream, and literally lose my voice. At home, however, I could yell at the TV and throw objects on the walls without any consequences. This soccer game was special. My nephew was playing. He was the key and most revered player on the field. He gave me tickets and I had front row seats. His face lit up when he saw me. His mere presence ate up every inch of space. The game was well played. Both teams competed well. I was having fun until I wasn't. Anger gripped me by the throat as I listened to the referee bad calls and his ineptitude. Where did they find this guy? I was livid. I cursed, I yelled, and hurled all types of insults at him. I caused a ruckus and was escorted out of the stands. It was embarrassing, not only for me, but for my guest, and especially my nephew. I love sports. I love competition, but I just can't contain myself at live games. And the other one, thank you. I have timed myself, so I know I'm doing all of this within 10 minutes. This one is dedicated to my mother who died about 20 years ago. It's entitled My Mother. My mother was my best friend. She died way too soon. So many things we could have discussed. So many places we could have traveled together. Her smile meets mine at happy times. Her kindness and mannerisms are etched into my being. I hear her voice of wisdom whenever I'm in doubt. Her absence leaves a void. Death, the stark reality of goodbye, a melancholy natural occurrence, an insufferable event that we all will encounter. Its reality and acceptance agonizing. My mother was my best friend. This other one is entitled Nothing Doing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is entitled Nothing Doing, and I'm sure when I'm reading it, you guys could all identify with it. Nothing doing. The crowd was larger than expected. Opportunity knocked and I willingly answered. I had rehearsed into numbness, yet a deep abyss of self-doubt overcame me. I was petrified. The words refused to come out of my mouth. My silence was uncomfortably awkward. Tears came into my eyes and threatened to run down my face. I took a few deep breaths as I gathered my thoughts and composure. Visions of applause, support, and encouragement blew right into my face and softly whispered, "You can do this." It was then I began. And I'm sure you guys can all identify with stage fright at one point or the other. And I'm going to end on this note. As I said, I write about nature and I looked at the things that I observe and I write about it. And this is entitled, I Could Have. I could have. It was 6 p.m. The sunset was extraordinary, breathtaking. Its glory spectacularly mesmerizing. I could have drawn a beautiful, picturesque scene, but chose to enjoy the tranquility of the moment. Unspeakable joy consumed my entire being. I could have questioned the miracle of sight, but chose to answer with gratitude. I could have sung songs of praises, but for my wonderment, my silence was enough. That's my last piece. Thank you all for listening. I appreciate the time. It was my pleasure to read some of my work. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacqueline. It's always beautiful to hear you read.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Emerald Carter.
Hi, Cherise, thank you so much for this awesome event and everybody that helped her. This is amazing. So I decided to read a few poems. The first one is forthcoming in Obsidian. It's called Autobiography of My Mother's Daughter. I am not me, I tell her outside an elevated train station. The familiar scent of pizza and Marlboro lights wafting up the steps. The air is quick with winter. I am trembling beneath my color block coat. My cheeks flush a rosewood. We see her from the door. My mother is a monolith. She's wearing an oversized white coat and a frown. She's asking for change. My brother avoids her, scurrying down the opposite steps. Head down, I pass in front of her. Is your name Emerald Carter? I wince at my name in her mouth, the calm she has from knowing the answer. When we get home, Grandma says she had to call the cops on her because she was acting crazy, demanding to see us. Says she's pregnant and she's not taking another one of her kids. The woman at the train station wasn't crazy, just pitiful. I tell my uncle I lied to my mother. He laughs and says nothing else. And then the next one, I can't see you guys, so if you want, you don't have to clap in between.
No, but out of appreciation for your work, I would love to clap.
Thank you. The next one is called My Grandma Was a Superhero. My grandma wakes to Kiss FM 5 days a week. She summons her children's children and goes to work, where she feeds and cleans disabled folks. At home, she watches Oprah, opens the mail, scratches her scratch-offs, and waits for her numbers. Dinner is finished by The Simpsons. In the elevator, a white woman tells my brother he'd make an excellent elevator man. My grandmother replies he'll be whatever he wants. Before I go to boarding school, my 4th grade teacher tells my grandmother I should stay in the neighborhood. My grandmother calls her racist because she would not say that to a white child. My grandma won't let our mother speak to us if she is high. One time, my mother didn't show up to McDonald's. Grandma let us have extra ice cream. We're driving me to boarding school. I'm playing a tape I recorded of New York radio, since Boston radio is trash. What's Your Fantasy comes on. Grandma throws the tape out the window. The mailman comes one Saturday all in a tizzy. Is this Linda Carter's house? Yes. The Linda Carter? Yes. Wow, your mom is one special lady. I take the package back to my grandma. He seemed really excited to meet you. She chuckled. Linda Carter was Wonder Woman back in my day. That makes sense. And then I'll read the 2 poems that I have in the Jam Journal. We Buy Gold. As I'm walking down Jamaica Ave, a man yells, "We buy gold," twirling a sign in cracked gray hands. His voice in amber cognac. The wrinkles around his mouth disappear when he smiles. We buy gold. His shoulders are hunched from years of looking down. He's wondering when his boss will pay him, when his landlord will come knocking. He can't afford to pay the rent. He can't afford to pay for anything. We buy gold. Poverty has made his kin strangers, his bed an island. He is the kind of gold we melt down and trade for cash. Tattoos, piercings. He's on a different corner making commission. He's back in GED classes and wants to be a motivational speaker. Give the kids something to look up to, he says. And then the last one, thank you, I heard that. Thank you. This is defense mechanism. Opaque boundaries trouble many nations. The infamous common good bartered for grief and demolished dreams. A fractured collective of hollows and harmonies. We hang limp like empty pockets, tired, praying holy over water, sprinkling salt over shoulders, anointing our foreheads in ashes as armor, as fortress against what's come for so many. A broken tulip, the refusal of nakedness, a stupendous lie. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Emerald. It's great to hear more of your work after we performed together at Queens Museum a couple of years ago, right? Lovely having you. Thank you so much. Next, we have Marie Hinson.
Hi, my name is Marie. Just a round of applause for everyone so far. It's really special. Thank you so much, Sharice, for putting this together and for everyone who helped put this together. And thank you to all the other readers. It's really lovely. I'm in Ridgewood, Queens, and so it's nice to hear everyone else in Queens here. And I'm gonna read a poem that's included as it's included as a recording with like a sound score underneath. And it's called Start by Sleeping. So I'm not going to do the sound, but I'll read the poem. Last night was a moon temple. I found myself falling into the underworld. This is an illusion. What I see of darkness and the dead is what I have to see with. The moon follows their own way. Last night, the moon did not show me their face. I felt push and pressure against my body as I sat at first, through a fleshy wall, then without, as if I were passing through a crowd in slow motion. You'll take this with you, yes? Slow motion like the rocking of a wave. Let go, you are safe in this push and pull. The more I told myself I was safe, the more I felt the bodies of the dead against me. Going into or out of, here is a radiant origin. What comes may have little to do with as the left is from the right. Lying on my back, a person in a plague mask with a beak sat over my body, myself, and held my hand. I felt heaviness and pressure in my hands. Before the crowd was quickly moving, visions, lots of faces, some fierce and demonic. Most were swishing, coming in and out, again like the ocean. You're here now. This is your home. You're always here. I told myself this, and the person sitting over me told me that too. I felt my great-grandmother on my left side, opposite this person, trying to hold my hand. Rest, rest, death is rest. I was frustrated with the moon. Where are you? Why are you not coming into the temple I've made for you with your face? Sitting by Prospect Park, by the Brooklyn Museum, this is not a protest. I couldn't find the living people on the 4th of July. The touch has been lost. Wait for nothing, all for nothing. I sit in boredom now in the land of the dead. Yes, there's not much to do. Is this all there is? You see, you see, you see. And hands hold my feet as if dragging me down. You live here now. As the moon rises full on July 4th over the Brooklyn Bridge, why are all the people here after sunset? Why are they all waiting and watching back to the east? I don't understand, and I don't look back. I'm reminded always of what goes on and around. After all this, in the aura glow of the moon, I say, you are here even if your face is not. Your body is here. You hold luminance in my skin, in my flesh. Across the night sky, the faces in the fall and the winter, I suppose. After all this, in the luminance of my flesh, I draw the death card. Y'all are funny. I lie down, I drift away. There, rest here. Start by sleeping. Thank you.
Question, were you inspired by Hart Crane? I love that. Do you like Hart Crane? Do you like Hart Crane's poetry?
I was not, no, and I don't know.
You should look
actually.
him up.
Okay.
Hart Crane.
Thank you.
Yes, he wrote a great poem called The Bridge. Well, an epic poem.
Called The Bridge?
Yes, precisely.
Thank you.
Bob, can you put it in the chat?
Sure, I can, absolutely. As a matter of fact, if I were to send it via email, would that help out? If you give me your email address, I'll send it to you directly. I think everybody should know Hart Crane's work, actually. I'm his publicist. I mean, he's quite dead, but I'm his honorary publicist now.
Okay.
Okay.
I can send it out to everyone if you send it to me as well. And thank you, Marie. That was beautiful.
Yes.
And if you want to get Marie's new broadside from Center for the Book Arts, please do. It's gorgeous as well. So next up, we have Olena Jennings.
Thank you, Charisse. Thank you for the opportunity to be part of Jam Journal. I'm really excited about it. I'm going to read 3 poems. 2 of the poems come out of images. The first image is published in Jam Journal alongside the poem. But the second image is actually this, which is a matchbox, and in it is an embroidered heart. Sickness, an exhibition. There is the vertigo of changing places, of getting on a plane and stepping for the first time into another country. I feel the shifting of space in my body. When I passed through the small space between their naked bodies, a new space was created. Sometimes I see space as organs removed with a plaque above on which my name is written. The plaque defines boundaries. The boundaries are made of skin and bones. Ovaries inside, heart inside, lungs inside. Sometimes I break the skin to try to break the boundaries. Visitors walk by peering through, taking photos that flash through skin, even when they are prohibited. In this box, slide it open. See the tiny bones which once held my faith. They snap like twigs. I regretted not caring for them properly. The fish heart is left. The fish jumped from its bowl looking for a savior. I was looking for company. With the rhythmic swimming, my eyes moved back and forth in their own water. In this box, buried in my garden with the tulips and marigolds, was my childhood. Those 6 years, one with a ping pong ball in a fishbowl. After the box was covered with dirt, a small coffin, I was filled with a new longing that was mirrored in tears. When I went in the bathroom to wipe them, I noticed a silver hair reflected. And the last poem is called Palette. He was a magician with color. In that room were hundreds of paints. I came to find the ones that weren't in nature. I shouldn't have let him into my room. He was a giant in his orthopedic shoes. He left crumbs in the sheets. I was supposed to follow them to the bottom of the bed. That way I would get the color, but there was no way out. He liked locks. Listen to their click like the hard beating of a heart. His own daughter was behind one of the locks. I was behind the other. I was looking for the color between mustard and canary. Sometimes these colors were medicinal, would keep me alive, paint the insides of our bodies. Tear me open and you'll find his color stolen after his head almost touched the ceiling in the bedroom. We talked simply about our lives. His words creaked like his footsteps and mine floated like the colors coming off their surfaces. Flakes of paint fell on his eyelashes. My bare feet against mottled ground went towards the door. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Olena. I love the imagery in your work. It's beautiful. Before we go to our next reader, Robbin Johnson, we will have our next oracle session.
Woohoo! So there have been some questions for the oracle, I understand.
Yes.
Charisse, would you like to share the questions with us?
So the question one is, what's the purpose?
Oh, wow.
What?
Okay. The oracle is searching. 1 second, please. The purpose is, she moved behind the clouds, watching me like a giant eye. reminding me of my power and insignificance all at once.
Ooh.
I said that to myself the other day. Yes.
That's the best answer.
Yeah, agree. Incontrovertible. Great answer.
Okay.
And our next question?
Our next question is, do you know the way to San Jose?
Well, we have to sing now.
Okay, so that's my turn to choose. The Black Mermaid birthed the ocean that birthed you.
Facts.
Okay.
All right.
Are you ready for question 3?
Yes. The oracle is ready.
Okay. Question 3. Does a new tree grow in Queens?
I love this question. Okay. Does a new tree grow in Queens? Does a new tree grow in Queens? And the answer is County Cullen and I are of this consensus. Prejudiced drafts psychopaths.
That sounds oddly familiar.
It should.
Yeah.
Thank you, oracles. Now we have Robbin Johnson.
Good evening, everyone. I was nervous, but listen to all the creativity. I'm no longer nervous. Thank you for this opportunity, Cherise. We was going back and forth on email. I'm excited because during the pandemic, I used my gifts and my gifts were dying. And now I am a co-author of a book called One Day at a Time. It's DAE. It is for intentional declarations, affirmations, and encouragement. It's a group of women who got together and wrote their stories. And it's a devotional book, a 365 page. I'm excited about that. My first poem, thank you, is coming, it's not in the Jam Journal, but this one's called Soulmates. When you touch my lips, my soul ignites until a desire to get to know your inner soul. As you pull me closer, my soul began to melt with the hope for a long journey to a place I never knew. But my soul was always burning to know. Your spirit of love, as you touched me with your hands, my skin jumped. It was the need to yell out for more, cry, and to thank the spirit for the connection. It is you that have swept me off my feet into another domain, a domain that I have not allowed any other one to touch. But you have encouraged me to continue, to see and embrace, so we can grow into each other's desires, a desire to love without limits, pour into each other's boundaries, unveil our inner souls to each other through the kiss, touch, and the whispers. Touch me softly, will always know how to feel my inner soul. Caress my soul with the rays from your soul connection. I want to be entwined in your innocence. Let's love. It's called Soulmate. And thank you. The poem that's in the Jam Journal is called Humanity. And this poem came about maybe 15 years ago. I was in a group at Fordham University as an educator and in a cohort trying to prove that we were educators and we knew what we were thinking of. And you'll hear the poem, Humanity. The color of my skin and the texture of my hair does not change who I am within. My ancestors faced racism in America in which they were stripped of their identity and accomplishments. Did that change who they were within? Did it kill their spirit, strip them of their capabilities, or strengthen their being within? I say to you, my ancestors struggle for the struggle, with silence, rallies, boycotts, blues, and tears, sometimes forgetting what was within. But the soul could not be removed from a foundation of people who believed in God. to move on each and every day to keep what they could to remain whole within. The color of our skin, the texture of our hair, our soul, features in our intelligence cannot be stripped, denied, forgotten, or overlooked, or even despised. We are great and continue to stand tall as we link together in America, reach within, perseverance to keep all within. Thank you for the time. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Robbin.
Thank you.
Beautiful
What
poem.
Thank you.
And I love your necklace too.
Oh,
Bells.
yeah, thank you.
Okay. So next we have David Lawton.
Hi, everybody, and thank you, Charisse, for everything that you've done to put this together. This type of work that's kind of spotlighted tonight is something that I do to kind of switch it up so you don't get stuck in the same writing patterns. When I read for pleasure, I always try and write down little words and phrases that jump out at me. And the two pieces I have in the journal are basically, you read a novel and come out of it with a little tiny erasure poem. But the poem I'm going to start with comes from a chapter in Don Quixote, book 2 of Don Quixote, which is not a pure erasure because it's mixed up with thoughts about 2020. Mellow conversation with myself after Miguel de Cervantes, sort of. We suffer and endure, dividing ourselves. Time shifts gear from speeding away from us to having meaning altogether. Do you have meaning altogether? Does meaning have time for me? This kind of existential contemplation is intellectually exhausting, makes my brain dribble like cottage cheese. It's a challenge in itself to speak in full sentences, to tell each other about our lives, find out why we settle into certain patterns, how we fall for the same shit all the time when we are so extraordinary, one of a kind, destined for greatness. Mother always said so, said you were special. Well, she didn't say it out loud. There were so many kids, it would have been rude. And we don't go for rudeness in our house. We promised ourselves many times to be a good person. That's all it's about. If you accomplish that, you have everything. There's nothing else you need. No room for anyone else, except myself. For me, I'm the donkey worth a dozen. A dorky? A beast of burden. Something to give one purpose. Milder tasks deliver me dazzled right here. So why bother looking for the cake you were promised?
Beautiful.
Journeyer.
Excitable.
Journeyer, an erasure of Open City by Teju Cole. And so when I began, not a body without a being, began to go on these walks, it's a physical test, and usually we lose. What we call a journeyer. I thought, I didn't think. We experience life as a continuity, a series of hesitations, shadows in corners, angles of light, sharp geometry present now as a trace, opaque maneuvers. People choose, and they choose as though led by an invisible hand, somehow touch the numinous, the intricacy of the weeds, lovely, firm persimmons, like someone taking auspices, calling out and listening. If there were no creek, they would be confused. Ulcerous sensation, a baritone fragrance in the glow of the final moment.
Right.
Escape Wheel, an erasure of Tinkers by Paul Harding. Finally, the black vestation, tin sibilant boreal forest, ichthytic skin cracklure, nimble loosestrife in the puzzled mantis of burst pods and thorns, columns of flint capped in fur, perfecting the beat of the escape wheel. And I'm going to use the remainder of my time to mention the fact that I'm part of the editing team of a small press called Great Weather for Media. 2 Sundays a month, we're doing Zoom open mics on Sunday afternoons. On Wednesday evenings, we have a 10-minute feature weekly. And we are currently taking submissions for our yearly anthology of poetry and short prose. We're always looking for innovative writing, such as what's happening here tonight. So you can go to greatweatherformedia.com and read about the submission process, the events that we have going on, and about our books. And I hope that you will check some of that out. And I thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you, David, and thank you for the journey you took us on with your words. Next, we have Bob McNeil, which I'm sure he's happy about.
This is news to me. I didn't know I had to do anything here. I was just enjoying everybody else's work. Well, greetings, fellow writers. I am grateful for being a humble part of this glorious poetical gathering. Now, by a show of hands, how many of you are in fact familiar with Count A. Cullen? Okay, all right, we're doing well. Very good, okay, great. So, inspired by Count A. Cullen's epic, The Black Christ, I wrote a response titled Text to Resurrect Revolution. Count A. Cullen and I are of this consensus. Prejudice drafts psychopaths. Their war paths transfix our people to many a crucifix. There resides the reason why my protest must never relax from typing its attacks. Addressed to your psyche, my compositions are microphones for Emmett Till, Michael Griffith, Yusef Hawkins, Amadou Diallo, Sean Bell, Ramali Graham, Trayvon Martin, Darius Simmons, Jordan Davis, Renisha McBride, Eric Garner, etc., etc., etc. Addressed to your psyche, you can hear the murdered and treat. Don't allow another name to join a homicide report sheet. Don't allow another name to join a homicide report sheet. Addressed to your psyche, the compositions I've written are parts of a bulletin. The passages transmit to our terra firma's retina. Addressed to your psyche, my protest wants life to evict the combustive and discriminative. If armed with you, lawfulness will live. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
During these days of strife, Langston Hughes' poem, I Dream a World, is truly relevant. I dream a world where man, no other man will scorn, where love will bless the earth and peace its paths adorn. I dream a world where all will know sweet freedom's way, where greed no longer saps the soul, nor avarice blights our day. A world I dream where black or white, whatever race you be, will share the bounties of the earth, and every man is free, where wretchedness will hang its head, and joy, like a pearl, attends the needs of all mankind. Of such, I dream my world. Thank you. Today, when senior citizens are dealing with COVID-19, outrageous healthcare costs, disinterested family members, and ageism, I present to you Lyrics of Mature Hearts, a book that celebrates the lives and legacies of older generations. Former Queen's Poet Laureate Hal Sirowitz provided this blurb. In this age of hopelessness, Bob McNeil's anthology is the missing link. It's a brilliant collection. While feeling great humility, I will share a poem from this collection titled Archived. Short-term memory loss is similar to watching TV commercials. The memories ask for my attention only to lose it by the next round of remembrances. Other times, that loss of short-term memories reminds me of movie trailers. Although the memories are loud and lavishly bright with self-importance, in the end, they leave no inerasable image. Sometimes short-term memories can appear like billboards through an express train window, flashing briefly as a locomotive moves to the next station. At this station of my mature life, I am content just having a long-term memory of once loving you. Thank you. This final statement is dedicated to all the participants and audience members. Miles separate us, but you are close to the place where I house my love. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you again. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. And thank you for always bringing the energy to every event that you're part of. The next performer we have is Angela Miskis.
Hi everyone, my name is Angela Miskis. I'm an Ecuadorian American artist based in Queens Village, New York. Thank you so much, Cherise, for putting the space together, and thank you to all the artists for sharing their work. I'm gonna be reading the poem that is in the Jam Journal, and I'm gonna dedicate it to all the bodies that are hurting, but every day they try to feel better. What can I offer? What can I offer? Misusing words, the clenching of my jaw, the grinding of my teeth, forgetting how to breathe, gasping for a breath, the tension of my shoulders, the tugging of my scalp, plucking my mustache, pulling my hairs, twisting and turning, tearing off my nails, the cramp in my right leg, my lower back pain, my dyslexic associations. I offer all of this for a chance to love me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And since Angela is one of the oracles, it's time for the next oracle.
The oracle is ready.
Okay, Cherise, would you like to share the question for the oracle?
Yeah. Let me get that question now.
And there's another question that Keisha just asked too.
Okay.
Or more like a command, perhaps.
Question 1. Should we go to a gathering of 5 people for Thanksgiving? Distancing and windows open, but it is indoors. Nice invitation, but we are hesitant. Should we go?
Okay, the oracle will search. One moment, please. The oracle says, poverty has made his skin strangers, his bed an island. Mm.
That clears up everything.
If you think about these answers, sometimes they do have some interesting relationship with the question.
This is true. This is true. It's kind of like a Dadaist poem or a collage poem.
Exactly.
Yes, I realize, and I love it. I love what's being done here. May I ask the oracle something
Sure.
later on, perhaps?
Sure. Maybe we'll end,
Something that just came to mind.
maybe we'll end with your question.
No, please don't do that.
Are there more questions that people have written to you already? Sure.
We had one other question, but we can go with Keisha's question as well, because the third question is a kind of ending question.
And we can do another one if we want to. We can.
Yeah, maybe Bob can go after this one, next one. So we'll have 4.
God forbid. No.
Let's go with Keisha's question. Tell us how to get free.
Okay, so that's Oracle Charisse is going to.
Yes. So let me pull that up. Oh wait, something just happened. Wait, did the answer disappear from me? Oh no. We'll try again. The Black Mermaid's beauty is frightening. She could lure you to your life.
Yes.
Sometimes the oracle knows. All right, and then we have.
So do we want to go with the last question?
Well,
I don't
All
know.
right, I'm
Bob want to ask
checking it now.
You have another one also?
I have one last.
Sure,
Let's ask both of them, that one and Bob's question.
Okay. Bob can go first since the other one is a kind of ending question.
Okay. What is your question for the oracle?
Do trees love dendrophiles?
This is my second tree question.
Exactly. I was inspired by that one, actually.
Okay.
Do trees love tree lovers?
I love this question. Let's see what the oracle says.
Thank you.
Do
And again, inspired by you.
love dendrophiles? Do trees love dendrophiles? And the answer is there was a difference in the environment, a sound, a strange vibration. He could not identify the disturbance that was eluding his senses.
Nice.
So how do we want to answer the last question? Do we each want to pull something from the oracle?
Oh yeah, that's a great idea, Charisse. Okay, so Angela, you want to go first?
Sure.
So let me state the question first.
Yes.
The question 4 is there anything more you'd like to tell
us? Okay, let's see. Here we go. Summer rises through our window always, flying with a smile.
Okay, let me pull up mine. He's wondering when his boss will pay him, when his landlord will come knocking.
And finally, people choose, and they choose as though led by an invisible hand.
Yeah.
Nice.
So on that note, we will behind the scenes be compiling the Gem Oracle poem, which shall make its appearance at the end of this launch.
Awesome.
Thank you, everyone.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Not over yet, but thanks for your input.
And now we have Sandra Proto.
Thank you, Cherise, for including my prose piece. And since it's a jam journal, it's kind of fitting that my piece is called Jams.
Perfect.
Yes, jams were street parties usually held in the back parts of housing developments. The DJ from one of the neighborhood rap crews would supply the music. He came equipped with 5 milk crates packed with LPs, 2 turntables, a microphone, and 2 rebuilt 5-foot-high speakers whose woofers were the size of hubcaps. Cranked them up, and the pavement was thumping. When George Clinton and the P-Funkadelics flashlight filtered the air, heads began to nod. Tapping feet spread around the park. Flashlights and lighters, even matches appeared ready to light the night sky. The DJ would turn the music down so everyone could mimic George Clinton's flashlight whine in unison. Flashlight came from all different directions, young and loud, old hoarse voices trying to catch up, and slurred, incomprehensible noises came from the neighborhood winos. Even the cops felt the groove. They gently patted their feet and nightsticks to the beat, singing along with everyone. The party started jumping when the DJ spun Lashik's Good Times and the Sugar Hill Gang's Rapper's Delight on his turntables, scratching and mixing the 2 12-inch vinyls, showing off his style and composing his own music. You could dance the night away or until somebody who had too much liquor or beer started spewing accusations of hogging all the liquor to their drinking partner. No, I didn't. The first punch was thrown. The music was lowered and everyone danced at a slower pace. The DJ would go to the microphone to try to get them to break it up. But there was nothing more entertaining than watching Jack Daniels and Old English 800 malt liquor duking it out. Yes, you did. A bottle was picked up. Dancing feet lost the beat when the music came to a abrupt halt and the cops moved in. After both parties tried unsuccessfully to plead their case, they eventually left, still fussing at each other as Curtis Blows the brakes softly snuck in and stirred calm feet to search for the beat again frantically. Halfway through the night, the DJ would spin Denroy Morgan's I'll Do Anything for You, while Circle, Soul Train style, was made for the freestylers, breakdancers, and pop lockers to show off their moves. Everyone cheered and chanted when the dancer would slide in the middle of the circle and do his specialty, either spinning on his head and back or do some crazy leg movement that Michael Jackson would envy. Then a second dancer would interrupt the first dancer's flow by showing what he got by tossing a move in the first dancer's face, and the chorus of "Challenge" bellowed from the crowd. The dancers would battle until the crescendo of "oohs" peaked to "ooh, did you see that?" The winner usually was the one who eased into his slickest choreographic moves without thinking about it. The loser would walk off saying, "All right, you got that one," and promise a rematch next week with some powerful steps borrowed from the Dance Fever contestant. At 3 a.m., the party would wind down. The two people that were fighting earlier came back with bottles of Jack Daniels wrapped in brown paper bags. They would sit on the back of the bench, watch couples form to slow dance, and steal sips from their concealed spirits. This tranquil state lasted until the dense popping from heat waves, always and forever. The last song would dissipate. The DJ packed his system to the laughter and excitement of everyone walking home. Jams were the place to be. Thank you. Thank you.
Amazing, Sandra. Thank you so much. And Natalia wants to know where we can read more.
You could go to my website at www.sandraproto.com. And also I have a new book coming out called Perfect Woman, New and Selected Poems.
That was going to be the title of my book.
Oh, okay.
Now I have to find something else.
Yeah. Thank you.
And finally, now we have the Oracle Priestess herself, Priscilla Stadler.
Thank you, Charisse, and thank you for putting this all together. It's really amazing to be a part of it, and thank you to all my fellow artists. I love being here with you and part of your creative energy, and thank you to everyone who came tonight. Yay! So, although you've probably seen a lot of me already tonight, my contribution to the journal is actually a 10-minute video called A Tree I Love. It was a participatory project where I invited people to share the story of a tree that they've loved, past or present, near or far. And then from some of those stories, I wove them together into this piece. So it's about 10 minutes long, and I'm not great at screen sharing, so hopefully, hopefully I can do this right. So. All right, having some technical difficulties here.
Siri here. Let me know if I can help.
I don't know why you're here, Siri. I didn't ask for help. Okay. If I could be a tree, I would be a ginkgo. I love their triangular leaves and how they flutter in the breeze. Ginkgo extract is a memory aid, and they're one of the oldest species of trees, around 350 million years old. If I were a ginkgo, my memories would be rooted within me.
This tree was inscribed on my arm in honor of living 50 years.
Communication tree is my very best friend in the tree world. She is like all the wonderful female relatives, aunt, sister, cousin, grandma, mother, and friends you've ever had or wished you did, all rolled into one loving presence. We've collaborated on countless projects utilizing her communication skills. A while back, the highway department in the town of Woodstock, New York, was removing trees that were either diseased or in danger of falling. Inexplicably, they cut down my friend. Although she was leaning over the road, it was just to catch some rays of sun, and not because she was structurally unsound. Luckily, her spirit stuck around. She would hang out in her 4-foot-high stump sometimes, but more often could be found in a neighboring tree body, cohabiting with her partner. Sadly, the highway department returned this year to remove her stump. I saved a bag full of her sawdust and use it as an offering when I do tree walks. The story is not over. We are still in contact and have projects to work on together. However, I do miss her beautiful maple tree body and its magnificent energy field.
The giant shagbark hickory tree arches over her home, generously offering shade, protection, a habitat for birds. It has been treated like a beloved family member. As it grew into the roof, the answer was to cut away at the roof to give the tree room. Ancient and resilient, it has survived lightning strikes and still stands tall. The hickory feels like home.
I had a beautiful dream I was dancing with a tree.
My mother had it removed because she said the seeds were a hassle to clean up, and the roots were taking over and could threaten the other plants like the rose bushes. That was the first time I ever heard the term invasive species. It was hard for me to comprehend how a tree so lovely could be considered a pest.
We have a 30-foot pine tree outside our kitchen window and have watched it grow 20 feet in the 21 years we've lived here. Originally, it was an indoor Christmas tree in our downstairs landlord's apartment. It shields us from wind in winter and cools us in summer. It's home and a playground for blue jays and mourning doves, and at one time home to a hornet's nest. We watch squirrels and once a snake travel through it. We love the tree. We are so thankful it is part of our lives.
Back when this was a field, this tree stood in the middle of it and was where my great-grandfather would stop to drink the lemonade my great-grandmother brought out for him in the heat of the day. It was split in two by a lightning strike, but it's still growing.
All of my father's stories about growing up in Haiti involve sneaking into someone's yard to climb a tree. Because the best, name any fruit, grew in that tree, and Mr. So-and-so didn't share. Also, my dad was always the only kid who was caught in that tree.
This is my grandfather's tree. I cannot describe what this being has given me. It is a true relationship of mentorship, kindness, and trust. Tears come to my eyes as I type. I found out later he is a silver linden, silvery undersized to its leaves, and little yellow aromatic flowers that burst during the summer. I do not have a grandfather on earth any longer, and was not close with either of my parents' biological fathers. Grandfather is a place my soul can always go. I even found his echo on a pilgrimage up the mountain in Italy to the Black Madonna, Tiglio Sacro, the ancient sacred linden, who sent his loving regards to my grandfather in New York City and back and forth. I realized through Grandfather Tree that our relationships are reciprocal. You're not just come to receive healing and wisdom and solace. You can give that too. You can pray for them, give them strength and encouragement, solidarity and love.
This tree gives me peace. It is standing there, and though it's dead, it's even more alive and talkative than many others. This tree reminds me of our beautiful friend Mika that died too suddenly. Nevertheless, he's here. talking to me.
Basking in its fragrance, I rested near the surface of its earthly origins.
When I finally got out of both of the mental hospitals where my mother had committed me for running away, I had to redo junior year at high school. I spoke to no one there or at home for days. All I could think about was darkness. I could feel the cityness of New York reflecting my grayness inside. I was slowly dying inside and contemplating matching that feeling with outside action. I was walking the gray sidewalks to school when I became aware of a flowering tree in a small yard. The morning light struck the trunk, the branches, and the glorious flowers. The tree was so beautiful that I started weeping, but hiding the tears from the streams of students passing by. The infinite pink and white shades of the petals, the tenderness of the yellow threads inside the petals, the lights striking the green leaves, the trunk with its sturdy shades of brown fissures and furrows, the fragrance. It's a cliche, but really it was indescribable. But you know when you've experienced that beauty, it will change your life. I have been thanking and blessing and bowing to that tree for 55 years.
This tree deserves a lot of honks to make up for being falsely accused of being called a hanging tree for many, many decades.
After my left breast was removed, this tree showed me how to adapt my roots, branches, leaves, and seedlings to live a loving life.
Here she is, Sister Cedar. I have a place on the right side where I stand and open to her energy, back to the tree, eyes closed. And sometimes with forehead pressed against a rough surface, often receiving images, sometimes words. She has told me that trees everywhere are ready to communicate with us if we slow down and listen. I believe that.
It's official. I'm a dendrophile now. Aside from that, the poem reminded me of Trees by Joyce Kilmer. I know you're familiar with that poet, right?
I don't know that poem.
Ah.
I don't know that poem.
So it appears that I have to send two links about poets. But no, you would love it because it's the same subject, but your piece is much more philosophical.
Mm. Well, and
that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Thank you. I mean, and that's thanks to the contributors to the project. I felt that their stories were so beautiful and moving and powerful that I just had to do something with them. So I was moved to make this video.
Yes, very well done. Again, a round of applause.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Priscilla, and thank you to all the contributors for your brilliant presentations tonight. Thank you so much. Round of applause for everyone.
I want
Thank you,
to
Cherise.
thank you, Cherise, for inviting us and
Thank you,
for everything
Cherise.
you did.
Thank you all for being
Yes,
here.
thank you.
You all made it
Thank
happen.
you, everyone.
Cherise, you should be a manager. You managed to tolerate me recently.
Yes, thank you very much, Cherise. Beautiful.
That's an in-joke.
Yes, I know. But
I
thank you. Still love you, Bob.
God bless you. I feel the same.
So, Priscilla, is it time to reveal the Jam Oracle poem?
Almost.
You need some time?
I need a couple minutes. Maybe I can do this. If I can.
In the meantime, does anybody have questions? Do you all have questions for each other? Maybe we can have a Q&A right now.
I have the answer for all questions right now. I don't know. I will never know. And if I did know, I wouldn't tell any of you.
Okay. This is not working in the form that I had hoped to, but let me try doing it in a little bit of a different way.
Raining really crazily where you all are because
No, I can hear it. It's just
Yeah, we're getting a lot of wind over here.
Coming through my window right now.
Most of it's coming from my mouth, but we're getting a lot of wind.
okay. I think maybe the easiest thing to do with the poem, the oracle poem, is to actually share my screen, because I tried to paste it into the chat, but I was not able to do
it. Okay.
Cool.
I mean, yeah, share your screen.
Hold on a second. Oh, there's an issue with here. Just when you don't need technical difficulties. All right. Pardon my muttering. That's my only way I deal with tech issues.
If you're talking to yourself, you're talking to an intelligent person.
Thank you, Bob.
No problem.
I appreciate that. Okay.
I appreciate you.
I am going to share my screen again with, so we're going to actually invite anyone who would like to, whether you're a participant or audience member, and I guess we can unmute ourselves, right, Cherise? To just
feel free to unmute yourself.
Yeah, so to just read one line from the Jam Oracle poem, which is about to appear on your screen, if all goes well. Okay, let's try this. Okay, can you see it?
No, my eyes are too old.
A little more.
No.
Make it a little bigger, maybe, if you can.
Yes.
Next.
Photograph.
Ooh. That's off the page.
I will scroll down when we get to that point.
Okay.
Anyone want to kick it off?
I can start it. All right. Should I continue with this opportunity? I draw the death card. You all are funny. Will my 2021 be better than 2020? Night creaks into morning. Child's dream flower into dawn. Moon sleep above sunlight. What is sparkle?
Oh. All right, does someone want to read a line or two?
Jams were the place to be. What's the purpose? She moved behind the clouds, watching me like a giant eye, reminding me of my power and insignificance all at once. Do you know the way to San Jose?
The Black Mermaid birthed the ocean that birthed you.
Does a new tree grow in Queens? County Cullen and I are of this consensus. Prejudice drafts psychopaths.
Should
Can
we
we
go
go-
to a gathering of 5 people for Thanksgiving? Distancing and windows open, but it is indoors. Nice invitation, but we are hesitant. Should we go?
Poverty has made his kin strangers, his bed an island. Tell us how to get free.
The Black Mermaid's beauty is frightening. She could lure you to your life.
Do trees love dendrophiles? There was a difference in the environment, a sound, a strange vibration. He could not identify the disturbance that was eluding his senses.
Is there anything more you'd like to tell us?
Summarize. Go ahead.
Summarizes through our window always, flying with his smile.
He's wondering when his boss will pay him, when his landlord will come knocking.
People choose, and they choose as though led by an invisible hand.
The Oracle says thank you.
Right.
Yes. That's great.
Yeah, agreed. It's like William S. Burroughs' cut-up method. No, I kid you not.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
And this oracle will also be up on the website
Awesome.
this coming week. So once again, thank you to everyone. And the website is jamjournallit.com, where you can find all the work from all the contributors and find out more about upcoming things that they are doing as well as find ways to support Jam Journal and J Expressions. Thank you all, and I hope you have a great rest of your night.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
That was wonderful.
Yeah. Good night. Have a great week.
Good night.
Buenas
Good night,
noches.
everybody. Bye.
Good night,
Good night.
everyone. Thanks for
night.
beautiful energy.
Thank
Good
you.
night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Jackie with her.
Thanks, Greta. Good night.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Okay. Good.
Thank you. Good night.
Good.
Sharice, I'm gonna, just in case, I'm gonna stay on to make sure it downloads. So you should stay on. I don't know if it's gonna download there, both. I don't know, but we should just check in.
Okay.
It was great. It was lovely. I know I wasn't showing myself, but I was listening.